Minua morning.
Na no be say.
Ye ho adom. Tia ahwefo nyina enyo mo mutie wo. Happy.
Na parliament is saying.
Oh ye ho adom. Ye ho ye. Akasakasa na adoso beti ye ho ye.
Sa. Efa Ghana ho akasakasa na se mo internal mo issues
na Ghana ho akasakasa eni ya ho se ne ye twabon ye no.
Ghana po twabon mo ho.
O kan bi.
Sa. Na uhwe a omo ewo justifications on betwabon mo.
Oh, there be esanse won eye nhihye ya ye bi no ma ye call parliament enche no ye koto ye eye nhihye ya omo a ye Fourth Republic shasi omo call parliament fi 93 omo di shasi enti se ene ye dum pempenso a ye hu se sa nhihye no e bia e mo oman no ana se ye nsesa ne aka ne sa but se ekoban se I say MP for call parliament there ye hwe ni ma ne se ye be ma ye ka na etwa edi akọ efie no enye fe
sa yo mami Ghana for anemu na mbisa a few questions on Mukalo nsensem no so when your first time MP
no me second time
when you until Canada the first 7 parliament no you to Canada
yes
until do you necessarily need another car
and then say besides so until mami fa akoma nchia me peso asofo I was South Dayi I was peki parliament tongo and akpeve the kasi mi bonkro ni nyina ade abechi enti me janisa any Ghana mine minua ampeni ampa mi rural parliament January mu no na nhihye wo ho enti na mi wo me car me talk sata na me a lawyer me to ya but me dey campaign no na etundra and me no ka say eni ahonde me dey campaign no won say ago enti me mo me se ne be ya na otubia me no ka say ejuada nyumre na me fi no ho abai me fi me constituency bai ochena fie esa me sanko na yebi ajuara nyumre na me san ba eto de bi kura wo ho a na ya san to nsa from crime so tanji hwi ubo hwi na osa man crime enti enye ansha se enfi sata mi ehu be hia se be call history num kakra 1993 first MPs na omo ba no on say that time no na afeni FPNDC aba Fourth Republic na o hwe ya manyon semu a judge for the omo gusudi omo adwuma even under PNDC and na PNDC no they were exercising University they were exercising the executive power of state and now say executive ayenim ne no omo na omo di ade because no omo ministers na from PNDC secretary for this PNDC secretary for that enti na organ of state na ne ho akire na fe na ye be ma na kwanya ma na adwuma no na parliament na national assembly enti MPs ni bae no na nhihye bi ani o ma no muni adan o mbetinem no muni ka o mde be adwuma in fact na chamber na nkasa kra no na enya ready enti sata no na parliament no mutena a friend sign a conference center sata na JGS ni fufura no mu de non-aligned conference 1991 enti conference no yewie no mfie mienu echi no 93 no na you move on call enti o mutena ho ansa na ye refurbishment ama the existing parliament house enti na hu be hia se ye be bo enti no nhihye emu ba ko mo ye ni se omo de sakumono floods bi e de ma se e dan a o metinam aye MP adwuma enu echi no na hu be hia se na omo de akona abanti no na ban se oni ska obetimi atoka se na otoka ma ministers any judges nti yenyen hyehyɛ bi nhyehyɛ bɛ na mo yɛ ɛne sɛ yɛbɛma aban bɛbɔ obesia na ɔde ama mo na mo de atoto mo cars na yɛate mo kakra fi market yo meanwhile so hwɛ article 71 na MPs for ka ho na a public officers or more no bebrebe ɛwɔ ho no na enye saa na nhyehyɛ ne te nhyehyɛ ne sɛ obiara bɛyɛ MP a aban facilities ɛsɛ ɔdidi ne dwuma no ɛsɛ aban na de ma no ɔkyerɛ bi wo fi hɔ a no wagya but sɛnea na afei na ya hyehyɛ enoma sinti no MPs for ne ti aseɛ ɛna abɛyɛ hɔ no
alright membisa bibi kakra o emra no ɛkyerɛ how much ɛwɔ sɛ yɛde ɛma members of parliament as sika o momfa nkoto car ɛna ɛsan so ɛkyerɛ the type of car ɛwɔ sɛ moto ana
emra na nkyerɛ sa
okay
emra ne kyerɛ sɛ sisi a yɛwɔ bibi a friend of Presidential Transitions Act the based on article 71 nti a president in a SETI committee ne ahwehwem sɛ article 71 office holders no ahene yɛsɛ yɛde ma wɔn ayi nti a scale ɛwɔ hɔ bi ada so MPs for no your scale yɛ am sɛ 70.70 grade 71 Supreme Court judge ɛda bɛ 84 ana bibisa Supreme no CJ Chief Justice said that 84 Supreme Court judges that 81 Court of Appeal that 78 yɛne High Court judges ɛna boss here and I say ɛna boss nti the first loan sum a yɛma MPs no ɛyɛ 5 million 35 million about 28 years ago and I'm ready to tell saloon cars.
Nti omoto saloon
cars, yes. First parliament omoto saloon cars. Nti ebi kura to second hand. That time. Nti 97 no, DH mensa number no, e san to asosa, e san repeat. And also bebree to saloon. No, in fact saloon na omoto. But next kind no na no so nti no mo de to second hand. 2001 Jay Kufuor buy the same policy and also no but now baby I started to brand new but the buy into a Sunday call 4x4 and once na me bekan so beka 2003 2004 yinya by election p o man mu ha a lot of MPs who omunya accident no na omuhaka omunya accident they don't survive it until the then speaker alajete because ye MP baako talk near ye by election and who can enya grow until speaker alajete me ye hwehwe mo no hu say saloon na MPs ni use them one esan say Fufi anto ata na accident kosia they are not surviving the accident until directly said they should get 4 wheels until directives ni bus from 2015 2005
Macho answer bet was no was this based on any researcher
yes the ad hoc committee because a member your statement said it appears MPs are dying too many of them are dying during accidents until another committee to look into no it's not really about accidents in the but it totally depends on Saudi Land Cruiser accident now the Hyundai Elantra accident you can I don't mean someone with Hyundai no.
Yes but the point that has to be made equally is that if you are driving carelessly
no accident no let's be
yes but Samalandeya
Dabi uyanisa ube poison issue no it's no any accident be an reckless no
there are realities we ought to face
accident be an reckless driving you may not be the source of the accident
cause of the accident
yes it's all the recklessness be more accident it's a friendly accident
indeed
yes it's a friendly accident it's accident here we are not saying it's the MP's fault or it's not the MP's fault.
The reason why me be assassin way, honorable, some of me land there. Saloon cars and once if I may land,
you see, you are taking the reasonableness of the decision if you ask the question like that. It's not about MPs driving recklessly. Listen to me carefully, so that nobody goes to report wrongly. All we are saying is, up to now, MPs in accident. MPs in accident. Me no kase me car or shop. Me in accident 2 weeks ago on the motorway. So it's not about
the reason I'm making you referenced a certain brand.
Yes.
I guess saloon car.
But
listen. We know that there are saloon cars. In terms of don't
do this. You are not helping the interview.
Okay, you go ahead.
I use that for purposes. Okay, I won't mention any saloon car.
Okay.
But I'm saying that if a four-wheel drive is involved in an accident, and a saloon car of any kind is also involved in a similar accident, they have established that the possibilities of the occupant surviving in the four-wheel is always higher than in the saloon car. That's all. That was the finding of the committee. So the speaker found it necessary to direct that then going forward, MPs should be procuring 4x4 vehicles. So from 205, some bought all manner of four wheels. Some again bought second-hand four wheels. But over time, it became established that they should procure the standard Land Cruiser. Okay. Some prefer Prado. Okay. I don't know is by preference. And to maybe about 2017, because I was new and I also didn't have a very good car, so I participated in the facility to my benefit. And then it's my choice because my Land Cruiser is still in a good shape. Yes, many accident you repair, you rehabilitate it and you use it. And it's my decision to participate in this current facility or not. But the point is, I say you can't say Adentina for a long time no. MP for our Article 71 category of public officers no. Epenia your mom busy and say your move fantoka. MP we are MP now be a Minister of State. Immediately your mouth car near the saloon car come near mouth fee. Near all the facilities of office, ni deputy, sir, judge, the same thing. Until say madam for a call, you boni to or call a campaign or bar, a boni to. Then before any security. For all these years, the MPs didn't have security. And then I arrangements here my security. And no crown is coming in phases. Ibinum dia binu security aba ibin so dia na fe na ye training ama. Nti I say MPs no ya ya be trapia obi e we bi. But esi etnase as on mine na say is it right? Aban we by 2017 kra na criticism no na ano she saying ene but am say refi. But excuse na Akufo-Addo mine say Sa report no beto ye no. Professor Edubuando report no. Osre ono be inherited report no from the outgoing government. Enti omo mane kwan. No approve we that he will review the policy. 4 years down the line, he is even adding. And the Council of State he's no longer giving them vehicle for their functions. He's also asking them to take a loan like MPs do to buy their vehicles. Meanwhile, Council of State members, 1/3 of the members are also elected. I say we are elected member in this country to serve in public office. There's so much disregard for your rule.
All right.
Assemblymen are elected. They are not given a dime. Unit committee members, we queue and elect them. There's no arrangement for them. Meanwhile, we expect them to be functioning at their base. The president was elected. Do we give him loan to buy vehicles to be able to perform the functions of the presidency?
Honorable, back to the initial question I did share in I say, and they say as a second time at War Parliament, you already have a car. Are you going to utilize this facility, having a car already?
No, because I can't does. I won't participate.
Okay, now the next question is the point you are making about the executive deal.
But you see, even though car name my loan into my car no color cry, but he has started here. You started your deduction from January if you have salaries.
So one year on
the refund.
No, the refund.
Yeah, once a year policy So they as for the deduction, once Parliament is newly inaugurated, they do the deduction.
I've seen that there is some division of Parliament about what I say. You're regularizing and you said there is a standing car as a member of Parliament who be used. Upon exiting, the car is there for the next member of Parliament for the constituency. So, obey you. So, are you in support of that position?
Yes, that is what they do for DCs. Mimi DC, Obayano, there was a Nizam Patrol. Former DC in use you. Until no obey you until say the president decided to give them new vehicles. Until Nizam Patrol, no, and he has a more new Nizam Patrol. Back when the old model now, the rugged one, and you did new model now count. So that is the way it's supposed to be. Nobody is interested in that. And nothing I say, MPs no be a trouble. I say, open V8 now they are coffee, but that's not the point.
All right. There's been the introduction of this 13.3 million tax waiver, aside the loan facility that is being given. What's the import?
Oh, the import is that when you import vehicles, you pay taxes. And so government decides that they'll waive the taxes on the vehicles that the MPs will be buying.
But I thought, see, I'm a loaner,
yes, it's part of the loan arrangement.
But in giving you the money, it's the expectation, say you will pay. So when you import a car, these taxes are supposed to be paid, and so this loan is supposed to cater for these taxes you would pay.
Yes, if so, person MP need to import duty now, then the loan is not sufficient to buy the car.
Why not?
Because it
is a your choice, and I will make you say, "Oh, Kotebia Toyota Land Cruiser," and I say, "Ebia Okoto."
And you with choice. If you are a new member of Parliament, you need it to be able to work.
Yes, but say a 4x4, and yes, someone to.
Yes.
So Nissan a 4x4. In fact, a hard body a 4x4.
Yes.
The Hilux is also a 4x4.
Yes.
Amarok a 4x4.
Yes.
So it's your choice to decide to buy either a pickup or to buy a Land Cruiser.
Yes.
It's a year.
In fact, a lot of MPs buy.
Toyota Hilux.
Yes.
It's not the same cost as a Land Cruiser.
Yes, but it doesn't mean, you see, the tax waiver is no money is given to you.
Yes.
It's
money you
like,
would have paid that you're not paying.
Yes. So it's a threshold. And so only said there are some Land Cruisers, they exceed the quota. And to exceed it, then you pay the top up. So until Toyota Hilux, you are within. So nobody will ask you to pay any tax.
All right, so I think I do if you did not.
And that is what is done for every government vehicle purchase. Government cars are what automa officials bear. There's a waiver on it. This should not be an issue at all. Cars are government, Emma Presidency, Council of State, Electoral Commission, all state agencies, they waive their tax. Because if the government is asked to pay, it's as if you are taking your own money to pay yourself. It's too much. So they don't go through that hassle. So they set it aside and say that, okay, once these are for official use.
But in the end, if government is not paying those taxes and there's a waiver, you and I agree that these vehicles would be left in the government pool of CASA. The next ABR director of a ministry, Ebe Yusu, the next minister of a ministry, Ebe Yusu. But for that of the MP, it's an individual affair, Nipano.
Why is it an individual? These are some of the, hold on. Those are some of the problems.
Yes.
Umami loan, Emma made the talker. Until say maybe Bisiani Triano. Can any MP need him? That's also a mistake, Amoye. It's in the name of parliamentary service.
Indeed.
You understand?
Indeed.
So So I don't see the essence of the
in
question.
the end, per the arrangements that you and the banks have made, NIB for that matter, the expectation is that within the time or 10 one end, you'd have completed payment.
Yes.
So then in the long run,
that is why they start the deduction early.
Yes. So then in the long run, by your 4th year, you'd have completed the payment.
Yes.
And so when you complete the payment, the transfer will be done to you.
Yes.
Yes. And so you are carrying that vehicle along as you exit Parliament. If you have the opportunity to come back to serve, fair enough. Other than that, it becomes your property.
Yes.
So that property no longer is not for the state. It's like a CD cars here.
Yes. But you can't sell it. But you can't sell it.
So
no, but the policy is that you can't sell it to a third party.
But they auction some of these cars.
No, it's never.
The CD cars?
CD, you are talking about CD cars. I speak of Parliament.
Yes, but I'm saying that
when you buy a CD car,
yes, you have go to pay back the taxes.
Yes, you go back and buy. So it's the same principle. So if an MP, you decide, if you got a vehicle under this arrangement and you ever decide to sell it to a third party, the third party will have to go, and all the chassis numbers are there. If you make a mistake, you think you can outwit the system. Never. It happened 3 years ago. The person had to be brought to Accra to go and pay.
The distinguishing feature between more MPs, more system and more use, and for instance, the judges and the ministers of state, now me person a distinguishing.
And your system, they don't make that. Buying a use money.
Yes.
So blame government.
And they say, the minister a term of Nejuma.
Yes.
Uja kano.
Yes.
MPs area mo term of Nejuma, mo the car na echo.
Yes.
What you say?
Yes.
Because the minister is not taking the car away, that tax waiver is still to the benefit of the government.
Yes.
But MP at the car, it is not to the benefit of the government.
Why? For the 4 years, didn't the MP serve the Republic?
But for the 4...
You see, that is why, I say, see policy, because policy is a more MP nankasa, and my minister of the interior. MP no one auto fuel go come. Imagine say MP auto fuel now be auto fuel 1,000 Ghana. Bosumi, that's 4,000. Minister no on your money coupon. MP one hour service or car. In front say every month be our service, and I say we need 2 months we are servicing cry. It costs to be 3,000 to 4,000 servicing. We are 1 hour to our driver car. In front our driver no money be 500 and 600 Ghana cry. Times the number of months times the number of years is at your cost. And who take insurance policy comprehensive for the 4 years on the average no to have 20,000 premium every year. For the 4 years about 80,000 a year woka OMP ne ka
and all because premium
it comes from your salary, but it comes from your salary.
Market you saying
at meme level no OTT taxes nyina a car 18,500 yete car loan 6,000 ifim na ka 12,500 and no metua me caucus the calculating on the average the MP to say me in leadership I take home like 10,000. And so what taking some personal loans be or baby the campaign. Not just say you'll be going home with like 5,000. You can interrogate this matter.
Anyway, so now the final question on the MP's matter, and shifted to other matters. I say, Adentina and ye who say there are dissenting views to say Adiano Kwampono loans now no. We don't, some of you in Parliament don't subscribe to say yeah, mama loans, but there should have been the situation where what the ministers enjoy, the judges enjoy, it would have been the same that is applicable to you. I think in our 7 parliaments, yeah, anti some would sound common.
Once 7 parliament means a name nipa fufro. But not in penny for no money. And no, 2017 pa.
I remember the initial stages when
2017. April, May, I don't know, earlier kakra. April, May in this country. But people were willing to give Nana Akufo-Addo the benefit of the doubt. That was how he quenched the fire Quickly, Novaka said, oh, they know that these things it's a long-standing practice. Now report where he just inherited it. He was very smart. And the debate, into me and Twasu.
But the point I'm trying to make is since and it's very logical. The argument you're raising, say, your driver car. Meanwhile, your counterpart is getting full
exactly.
Coupon.
In fact, not your counterpart, your colleague who has hesited into executive.
Yes. Onya fuel, onya driver, onya security. Now, say na security or dying. All these things were unfavorable in terms of colleague what transition. So it would have been expected, say, you would have vehemently championed the cause and say, look, we don't want these loans. We want cars that are stationed for us with these additional benefits. But we didn't hear members of parliament make that championing case.
Well, I think people like Bagbin, if you check, people like Bagbin have been criticizing it because you see, it's a okay mrapona a so unconstitutional arrangement is so unconstitutional because okay Article 71 I say for instance 71 clause 1 it says the salaries and facilities that are to be paid to the speaker, deputy speakers, members of parliament, that's category A. B, the chief justice, and members of the superior court. Then I think the C will be the administrator of the common fund, auditor general and the deputy, electoral commissioner and the deputy, members of the public service commission, all those media commission, all those line of, or see, it will be charged on the consolidated fund. So it is not to be sponsored by the individual office holder, like the MPs are sponsoring their car loans, whatever the terms is. For an MP to pay 6,000 Ghana every month, which is equivalent to $1,000 every month, towards the purchase of his official vehicle, the Constitution says no. You are supposed to charge it on the public fund.
So it's unconstitutional then?
Yes, very, very unconstitutional.
So why is a House of Parliament that formulates law?
You see, hold on. You will see that sometimes people read the Constitution, but they don't read it critically. Some of us are raising this unconstitutionality of the matter recently. Then people are waking up. Even the emoluments report, it's supposed to be two volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. But the practice has been that they'll prepare one, like Yaintiamwa did, 123-page report. Now, Odiaba. And yes, and Constitution is from the speaker all the way to the media commission members. No, on my report, it should go to the president for approval. Then president, dear, vice, chairman of council of state, and members of council of state, no more dear, and a member parliament. But nobody seems to be paying attention to this internal structural arrangement. And when they set up the committee, they go and do their work. Then they bring one whole report. And it's yes, uncertain. And some of us are considering, because then they are no money economy, we may have to go to court to have a proper determination by the Supreme Court. And a proper arrangements are now set out, structure B, and now formula B to be set out. Because we are not following what the Constitution says we should follow in 71. And it is part of the problems. Because what is said, appointing new Supreme Court judge. Now appointment now successful. Near money, kaya money, diamond security, no in the what is Obia can want some that? Never, because that is what the law provides. So where he's going, he leaves the bungalow, he leaves the vehicle, he leaves the security man behind.
All right. Now, Okofa Emolument Committee, any recommendations are similar. Yenfa Dofteli Enko, spousal issues, and now, committee in the report, about Parliament, Mammo discuss it. About Parliament, Mammo discuss it.
About Parliament.
Reason I maybe say I have read Honorable Samuel Kujato Ablakwa. Swearing virtually say, when who say that document came for discussion in Parliament.
Okay, the fact say Samuel Hunu and say Amma, and I speak on authority because Samuel Samuel court.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to court on flimsy grounds. So over court, I said we'll make sure say your case is solid. Until me you should share a report no. Until I know what happened. And my research for Parliament. The minimum DC and my main choice DC. Report no was brought to Parliament brought to Parliament and laid in Kanye.
Okay.
And laid on the 4th of January. January 4, 2021.
Okay.
Committee was set up in sometime in June 2020. I'm say elections 90. Elections normally by, and it was late. It will try your records no more. We got table office our Parliament documents be about Parliament. You debate it be the Juma Parliament properly so called a fat table office. Into got table office. I won't say in their inventory books and records. No, it was brought and laid in the floor of Parliament on the 4th of January. Into which your other paper for the 4th of January, no, Bonsa was so motion. Now, on the 5th, no, so Kaya, President Bema, the last session address. And now, if you're me, and your official, you be after that. We have preliminary remarks for address no and your point. Until on the 6th of January, no, any approval report, no.
What debate report, no?
Once procedures be Parliament, procedures be brave. Report we say no, you debate no procedure you use no, you use what we call committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole.
Committee of the whole. Committee of the whole is it's like in camera hearing. The public are not invited.
Why has that been the convention?
Yes, it has always.
All other previous.
It has always been the convention. So I am not able to question the rationale. It's a committee of the whole. Committee of the whole.
Constituting
Parliament.
Okay, but in terms of membership, no.
Yeah, the full house.
The full house.
Full house.
Okay.
The committee of the whole means the whole Parliament.
Okay.
But the only difference is discussions, no, is
in camera.
It's in camera.
Okay.
The media, no public, no other person is admitted. So that was where the debate took place, and that was where the minority chief whip raised the issue of this recommendation, for salary, monthly payment of salaries for the first lady and the second ladies. But his position was rejected by the majority.
What was his position?
His position was that it is unconstitutional. The recommendation by the Yaintiamwa committee was unconstitutional because the first lady and the second lady are not Article 71 office holders. So they are no mandate. They are no authority to even make any observation about their situation at all. At least not in this report. Their terms of reference doesn't cover that. Hold on.
Go ahead.
So, is a big creative problems are mine. It's a report and eventually it's become public. It's already a public document, but if it's properly distributed and people begin to study it, it will create problems for Parliament. The only person or supporter no. The Honorable Kennedy Japan. Until they are making later, you can interview him on this man. On open support to Muntakano say, we are proving some of these things. So if they were minded, so Muntaka added that if they were minded, they should bring a bill. Government should offer a bill in Mra na pass into law so that we near first lady ni second lady na ya define them say if you become a first lady you are considered or you are deemed to be a public officer. We are second lady you are deemed to be a public officer pursuant to that new law. Then we agree with the law no. Then we also define a Juma Ombe as first and second lady. And then also, if the say Adrian any say who here say president in a bedi or Mahuka for yenye sign she ma na yemo musu market ya na say president any na bedi romu ni hwa speaker ni dia de speaker ni hwa chief justice any hwechiri nti na ka ya arrangement no na ya extended a speaker nso any nihukani any CJ nso nihukani na aye very compact omo antiasie and his opposition to that which all of us found favor with say and say a cut report no me approve omo antiasie Kennedy dienzo de kan ho and also no antasum and the approval was made with these recommendations now say you betua first lady ni second lady monthly wages no so it got maintained in the report. So this was what happened.
I have heard people raise issues about the mandate of the committee as in their terms of reference given them. What kind of terms of reference are they more now? The second part was say to examine any other relevant matter which the committee considers
relevant or related.
Relevant.
Okay.
Or say to examine any other relevant matter which the committee considers appropriate to its work. And therefore, if the committee feels the needfulness, say, spouses of a presidents, say, womo aketuyasem, allowances been here the more. Even that one, it's at the benevolence. The decision say it can happen that one day a government may come and say we are not paying even those allowances because it's not captured in law. Is that not part of their terms of reference?
No, that is exactly my point why I'm in court. So if you are minded to do this, bring a bill. Let's pass it into law. What the anything that is relevant to the work of the committee, has no relationship with the domestic status of a president or the vice president in terms of marriage at all. When you are married to an Article 71 office holder, it has no relevance to his emoluments at all. So anything that will be relevant to this matters will be whether or not some allowances be increased or be terminated. Those will be relevant. But to say that an Article 71 office holder, spouses should be considered for purposes of monthly salary payment, not relevant. Otherwise, I don't know for speaker any CJ I don't know for a electoral commissioner. The
logic behind their veering into sa lena wakase and into
that logic cannot be reasonable.
Because the almost kind of say the gesture of paying allowances to AF first ladies and as second ladies remains purely humanitarian to support and in some cases rehabilitate former first ladies who were evidently struggling to subsist. However, there is no legal basis for this support. Thus, the committee recommends that presidents be, support. Okay, the committee recommends that support be extended to spouses of presidents, former president, vice presidents, former vice presidents, to be regularized and included in the privileges of presidents, former presidents, vice presidents, former vice presidents. We have therefore accordingly included these allowances at same levels as currently pertains in Table 7.3, and then it references that.
Do you know where they run into problems? Where they run into problems, and it's a two scales. So, say monthly salary, as I say, equivalent to 80% of the salary payable to an MP who is a cabinet minister, if the spouse served 1 full term as president, then the alternative, payment of salaries equivalent to 100% of an MP who is also a minister of state, if the spouse served 2 full terms. In fact, the expression they use was 2 full terms or more. Is it possible for any person to serve 2 full terms in this country and have the chance to serve more? But they said so in the report. Until once you do that, you are placing them on the public service scale of paying wages to our senior public servants.
All right. But
you see, so by this, you are equating them to an Article 71 office holder and making categorical provisions for them. But, and they don't have that mandate.
But regardless, Parliament, when a decision is arrived at, whether minority agrees or not and is subjected to a vote, it becomes law.
David, it doesn't become law.
There have been instances. Bills about Parliament.
It doesn't become. It's not. Hold on. This is not a bill. So don't make.
Okay,
that,
fine.
Yes.
Fine. So now, at the end of the day, after the 4th of January,
this is a
on the 5th,
this is a government policy.
Yes. On the 5th, I'm debate,
David, we debated
on the
it
6th. On the 6th, I'm debate, you arrived at some consensus, regardless of
the Constitution says this should be approved.
Yes.
By Parliament.
So you approved it.
So we approved it. Now,
so is it binding?
No,
if you approved it?
No, it's not binding. It is only for the president to now give effect to. So if the president, who has a legal advisor in the person of the Attorney General, ought to have flagged this and said, no, if you review the Constitution critically, this recommendation is wrongful in law. So you can agree to all the recommendations, but this one you can reject it. Hasn't the president rejected recommendations of commissions and committees that he himself has set up, even constitutionally mandated commissions of inquiry? So recommendations can be made to the president. In fact, Parliament say a passing bill into law. The president, he has the power to not to assent to it and also proceed our home. And any BBA Parliament because say the answer to so. And now the answer chassis. I do president no a year binding is also a fan inside chassis. He can reject or accept. And in his letter to the finance minister, or see, I have accepted the recommendations of the Young Inter Emoluments Committee. So he was directing the finance minister to take steps and pay. In fact, all kind of judges need the now, so he should take steps and pay them. So it was the second letter in respect of the first ladies. And nuna a pager assembly. Otherwise, between January and now, no. Why? Because he hadn't taken steps to give effect to the recommendation. It was until so true say, pay them according. I have accepted the recommendation, so take steps and pay. And sana a pager.
But Parliament approved it.
Yes, we approved it.
All right. Now let's go to matters arising now. The refund of the money by the First Lady.
Yes.
We are in support of the refund.
No, because my camel baby said I think it was an emotional reaction. It's answer very funny scan.
I didn't hear.
Because the issues ain't yet about Rebecca as a person or Samira as a person. It's about the office. You see, there have been a lot of first ladies before her, and there have been a lot of second ladies before Samira, and there will be a lot of first ladies after them and second ladies after them. So the issue is about how do we regard in law the office of the First Lady. We have it's a concept we have gone to borrow from some other countries.
Yeah.
How are we handling it? Is it time for us for these two offices to metamorphose into a public office? I don't know a debate. No? If so, to say Honorable Muntaka Ekayeno, we bring a bill. then we do it. But with the debates and I say what the bufu, and I say on emotional grounds, my main first can more.
But legally, is she entitled to Sikana and I want account him?
Well, this you see, the allowance payments they are always paid allowance, I think, from the office of the chief of staff. And that is legitimate, because you see, the office of chief of staff has a budget under the office of the government machinery approved in parliament. So when the president goes to make a donation to a certain paramountcy, I can't question it, because he brought a budget that these are the things I want to do for the year. We have approved. In that budget, there is a component they call miscellaneous expenditure. And it's like emergency situations.
Yeah.
You see, 2 weeks ago, me kakra. Conjoined twins.
Kakra?
Yes.
Oh, me that.
Conjoined twins be no operation. President stepped in and paid. Do you know where he got that? He made that payment from. It will come from the miscellaneous expenditure. So, show me where. No, because he brought the budget. So, as part of those budgets, all presidents have found it necessary to pay some allowances to the first ladies. That is why I can say it's been a long-standing practice, policy. We are not questioning that. But say, ufa kwati kwan so. Now person who do Article 71 office holders one. Honor an illegal approach.
But as we sit here now, yet you almost salaries.
Well, you see, according to the Minister of Finance, they've not been paid salaries. In fact, according to Opong, he says that government was here to give effect to those recommendations. Since it was approved by Parliament, the government hadn't taken steps to give effect to it. So that is why people are asking that. So how come the refunds that they are making, they had money to pay for the refunds for the allowances paid. But in their letter, they describe the refund as refund of allowances. But that is not the issue. The issue is about the suggestion that they should be paid monthly wages. It's a amount for ETIAS here. Allowance in there, yes, it's normal. But so Koyan say, I say, why are Benjuma? Into Busumi, Intiana, Ketua, to say the way are Benjuma. A honor in some.
All right, since it's only me, I say allowance, conventionally, no, due hair. And yeah, I don't know, as a political party, and yet is a Mr. Veji Casse, yeah, auditing the account.
Only doing talk because Udi Bufu says he can't pay bioma, allowance, don't pay bioma. And yeah, say, doing chamber in Vienna. Inti, any NCC is Hona, Abahon, NCC, and one is see, only me, I didn't say on one is on one is sick. But no, Sika, Abayama. You know, through the presidency and now through Uknu office.
Yeah.
Or the amount. I would expect to say we see they all do these foundations. You know, baby in the office or no. Hona Lord in Mahama. Oh, pretty fear. Hona no now do they operate from there. But I think it's a state facility.
Okay. So
and it's a state arrangements. You know, under the office of, because Unim said his staff is the office of the presidential staffers. Yes. It is a state arrangements under the presidency. And you're enjoying some of these things. Now, Udi Bufu say where they are mempa. I say Esika. Until I say Bisiano Ajia and Siwomba, but I can understand your point. Say those ones are far-fetched.
So you think that your leadership's position on this matter, they are far-fetched?
Well, for me, yes.
All right. Now, let's move on to other matters, which has to do with your insecurity as of mine. Ejura committee one more ejuma. When you saw committee ejuma moye.
There be.
When you saw, me say on.
Edikai. Na NSS committee na itina kumase. NSS omutina kumase.
Osen committee na he.
Eso anka omudi omujuma na wodwura.
ewo jura.
Yes. It's a committee no. It's almost na jura.
In the same tea.
It's an say person crofo eba committee nenim. No mbe kan de omu hu ya na say de omu nim. Na ese ye bom ka. So faka fi jura ebe kumanse. Obi o ha oni say scan into obeka say ne oma. That's one point. Idea be a any uncle but there are economic reasons. But the committee needs to jura. Anka it will have a way of infusing cathartic feelings among people. Obi be brave to me I could hearings no. Meti the cause into what will fukura no senior evidence never kono. Ubu betimi I shall see say ejo. The committee hearings are very important, and allowing the public to go and participate in the hearings and listen is also very important. It's part of the healing process. So for me, the committee is too detached from the point of action. And then two, Dr. Vladimir Nchudanso, Makamo baby, look, he's the acting acting dean, I think so, of the Armed Forces Staff College. And committee ni ejuma oyeno. It is to investigate misconduct, professional misconduct of soldiers. He's a staff, for Christ's sake. He's a worker with the military institution in this country. So for me, he's too close to the military to be asked to do this in an unbiased manner. And in the membership of the committee, I find it unacceptable. And to the extent that Onunso I accept this or best on the committee, he's highly conflicted. Because I feel that he will not be in a position to damn the conduct of a soldier if the facts and the evidence so established. That's two. Three. Last week, I had the opportunity to pay a bit of attention. The lawyer for the committee, during the cross-examinations, there's a penchant to draw conclusions at the end of every day's hearing. You don't do that for committee hearing. Because other witnesses, Beba, or testimony, no, betimia conflict earlier testimonies. Until you only draw conclusions at the final discussions and deliberations to prepare the report. So normally you have a first draft, second draft, and a final report. Oh, until approach, you know. Until bebre so bebre kasa ho. I think there's a slight change. Then finally, the attack on the media people was also for me very unacceptable. And I think it hurts the image of the committee and perhaps the final product that they may put out. Because you see, the media people, whatever we do as a country, the media is our eye. And they see things and bring them to the attention of the nation. The politicians, we are so many, and we have very respective areas to handle. But the media people, they rove. And they, share ideas. And then they see what, BBC or baby, a media phone and me, videos, neighbor. And I didn't like
it's curious to say such an important matter. Honorable, was it you paid a bit of attention to Romo here?
Oh, no. I think you are not being fair to me. On the baby, on the last week, this week now, we have been very busy in Parliament. And it's a mechanic. Now I say I go back and listen, but to listen live.
Okay.
So I use that advisedly.
Okay, all right. I wanted to clarify that because
but if I'm not paying attention, I will not be able to give you these details level of criticism. I pay attention, but I had a bit of
Okay. Now, on Professor Vladimir, Dr. Vladimir Dansu's issue, could it not be, say, in the wisdom of former Constituency committee, the closeness to the military, would give him first-hand appreciation of one more hierarchy, one more structures, one more protocols, so as to determine whether protocols and all those things were followed per the shooting.
You see, now you inquiry bizarre for presidential commission, as provided in the Constitution in matters like this. But the president decided to direct the minister to set a ministerial committee. And you know the ministerial committee, the army, the Ghana Armed Forces is under Ministry of Defense. But the committee was set up by Ministry of Interior. Okay. The Interior and Defense are members of the National Security Council. South America. And for me, now the selection of the judge, perfect. I was hoping we could have picked somebody from NCC and Shraj, a senior lawyer from Shraj, and then a principal attorney from Office of the Attorney General. And that for me would have, I didn't like the idea that we had somebody who had a close affinity with the army. I was rather looking for people who they have close affinity with the army. So
have they been probing enough for you, the committee?
Well, I think as they grow in the work, the probings are becoming more intense. But initially, like you also observed, I think it wasn't probing enough. But with the cross-examination, and you see, sometimes committee hearings too are like that, especially when further testimonies begin to give other perspectives to sometimes one single issue. Then you, the cross-examiner, you may want to probe further into other perspectives that will now be emerging to that issue. And I think it's a characteristic of every committee or commission of inquiry hearings. The more witnesses appear, the more you are minded to look into a lot of angles.
Gauge Ghana for your followership of the committee's work. Are we interested in it? Gauge.
Initially, the euphoria got overtaken by MPs car loan, First Lady allowance salary, and all those things. And yes, I in some yanka, and can microphone any DH pa. And to be brain, like me kwa, anajo, then I do a replay. I go to the onlines, then I pick the video, then I do a replay. Be brain to me, Yanisa. It's even though it's live, but for this other topical issues are emerging in tandem with these hearings. People would have been sitting in their homes and in the market and in the shops. Na omutie.
Who follow Ashanti Regional Minister the evidence of committee no one. What did you make of his posture and some of the two committee in him?
On the Papa India, I say is the king of Ashanti region. Into the he speaks with authority. He ought to even take part of the blame because he's the chairman of the Regional Security Council. But I don't want to.
The evidence, or how do you see when you intelligence from two sources? One from a security intelligence and another from a private individual. He was unwilling to tell the committee. Would that undermine the conclusion of the work of the committee?
It would. And particularly when he swore an oath to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. And yet you come to the committee and say, more information, but I cannot reveal it to you. It's so offensive and contemptuous. Entina yen binone kase Sanka president set the committee, under the Commission of Inquiry Provisional, they would have had powers of the High Court. And they would have been able to exercise some of this.
But as it stands now, they could not have demanded, that committee could not have demanded.
No, but what would you do? A witness comes and says that I have information but I won't give you. Would you torture him? It's the contempt, it's the posture of contempt. And that's why Dafeamekpor say, why no want to say, oh yeah, as anti mind or one on him or did him or and he speaks. I don't know.
Well, I think
as public officer to speak like that, and it appears to be. Look, Minister of Education by Parliament, in a bisan say, Ashama MP in a bisan question. Say, school project be E-block. So it appears that the project was awarded by Get Fund through the municipal assembly. And instead of so he couldn't give those information because he was unaware. He said that I cannot tell you to Parliament. And I had to get up to tell him that he can't speak in such a condescending tone to Parliament. In fact, he's also a colleague. So if he's addressing members of Parliament, he should be aware of himself. So does he want to say that because the project was awarded by Get Fund through the municipal assembly, and because the assembly doesn't fall under his ministry, supervisory, administrative jurisdiction, he didn't have enough information to give us? Or he has information but he can't give to Parliament. Then he woke up. So then he had to say that he meant to say that he didn't have enough information. So if I had not gone back to get him to realign his answer, it would have been the answer that I cannot tell you. So it means you have information but you won't tell Parliament. And that would be contempt. Because Parliament is you have to tell everything to Parliament.
But hasn't there been instances somebody demanded documents a free amount for what amount family?
Finance Minister, many times. Finance Minister.
And I don't know if it's contemptuous to a Parliament Majuma, why haven't you taken action?
Well, I think it's a perspective you are bringing, that things like that we may have to hold him before Parliament Privileges Committee.
Is honorable Tupa just into all this one when you say
no. And yes, sometimes they will give you the assurance that I will make it available. I'll make it available, but that making it available never happens. So also making sure say the aba I fit now document in my or somebody now be said now. So I assure the House that I will make it available. We will do so, Mr. Speaker. You will never do so. So then it becomes.
Is there no means I'm waiting? They are compelling. No means. So we ban us more demanded answers. We not say, well, yeah,
You see, the other tool we can use is to refuse to approve if he has a budget, he has a policy, he has some loan facility. We can do that, and these are tools available.
Oh, your time is me and for a Chief Justice in 5 million bribery scandal no and to us. My partner are calling for him to step aside. Basis in anything.
Me say a baseless. Na metric. So share your map on him. Chief Justice Obia Odi judiciary name or head of the judiciary. In addition to the fact that he is the chief judge, Constitution is so the head as the administrative general of the judicial service. And say under his administration, onona baby a case is case way by court way on beye. So there is a secretariat that handles that. So we a judge. So we better not call 2, better not call 3. Ebe you are Kufudia, ebe you are who, ebe you are second D, or no necessary. by the Judicial Service Act, no, or also na chairman of the Judicial Council, which is the highest decision-making body within the judiciary. And the Judicial Council almost no disciplining judges. Say, you see, judge, obviously, judge, I say, a judge has misconducted himself professionally. Petition, a court Judicial Council, and almost a disciplinary committee to look into the matter. Into Ukaya, Tama announced a year petition, and they come CJ Wood say, why allegation of bribery against some judges, CJ Wood, as the head of the Judicial Council, instituted disciplinary hearings. Until time hearings now, be 3 judges were exonerated. Omo what to me is opamom, which is the lower court judges, the magistrates and circuit judges, she dismissed them. The high court judges now only to me so bit me opamom, some real or show a letter here with recommendations to the president to dismiss them. So the president revokes their warrants of office, the friendly warrant of appointment. But Saukaya, Tama or my instructions say, yenye disciplinary hearing, ne pe, and I'll catch them and say they should step aside. So the judges, the high court judges, no muntana case in studio, no, a mom beat nefi. I could see, say, if in inquiries. No, that is one leg. The same Chief Justice, also some other institutions like the General Legal Counsel. Again, the Chief Justice is the chairman of the General Legal Council, which also disciplines lawyers. You see, the Judicial Council has a committee that handles issues about professional conduct of judges. The General Legal Council, and which is chaired by the Chief Justice, that's the Judicial Council. The General Legal Council, which is also the public institution that is set up to handle the general professional conduct of lawyers in the country. The Chief Justice, again, is the chairman. And under the General Legal Council, we have the disciplinary committee. Now, interestingly, almost a petition, this as a way it was addressed to the chairman of the General Legal Council, to the Chief Justice himself. So internally, he will refer to the chairman of the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council. Now, in answer to the petition, the respondent claims by way of allegations touching on the chairman of the General Legal Council. Very serious matters. And now, whichever way you turn, you will be confronted with the presence of the Chief Justice. These are not emotional matters. These are legal arrangements. Any mistake set by accident. It is by his position. And once these matters are attacking his integrity, it will be prudent. And
all right, Safina, do feeling out to some of these things happen now.
Yeah.
Among for FFF, but
the phone has always been on silent. But Nipani Frey with WhatsApp.
So it's a WhatsApp call that is
yes,
okay. That is coming through. Rings. Okay. All right.
Now, I apologize.
All right, but mami seeking clarity big akra. Sir, General Legal Council no respondent no response no and no mention Chief Justice Room.
Yes.
So if they decide to investigate the allegation of the respondent now, that's when they will call the Chief Justice Meboa.
Yes.
But as it stands now, the case before them is not the allegation against...
of the petitioner.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
But you see, but that is why I think I fought the office of the Judicial Secretary for asking the CID to come in. I think it was too early. They should have allowed the proceedings today at the General Legal Council to go ahead. Then we'll see, would have seen the way forward. But as soon as we bring in the police, then we'll be questioning the procedure. Because procedurally, the police don't handle misconduct of judges. Because misconduct in respect of bribery allegations, corruption, that one, it is handled by the disciplinary committee of the Judicial Council. That is the forum. That is why the Anas video were also very disturbing, very serious. But it wasn't the CID that investigated. It was judges themselves who investigated their own colleague judges. You understand me? Huh. So appointed by the Judicial Council, headed by the CJ.
Since we call for him to step aside, now Martin Pupuyebi said he intends to see reason and logic in your argument as you are preferring now.
He did.
He said, "Mo call it for his stepping aside, you know." From baby Amotie and then come out with the more lawyer for Motitensem. Does he see logic, reason enough in the position you have just explained to all of us who have you?
It's whether he sees the logic or the reasoning in it, it's immaterial because Isaiah is in the center. There is every logical reason, reasonable basis for the stepping aside to be effected. Because I've given you the structure and I've given you where he features at every point. The law is nemo judes in causa sua. You can't be a judge in your own cause. So if you allow him to stay in office, he will be staying in office and will be functioning as the chairman of the Judicial Council. Nobody is saying he should be dismissed. We are saying that he should step back and let others handle this matter. Because in any case, in his absence, there is somebody who will act at the CJ. So if he sits there as the chairman of the Judicial Council, which must constitute a disciplinary committee to hear issues about him, if you take the left, he is there as the chairman of the General Legal Council. Under him, the disciplinary committee of the General Legal Council will be looking into matters of allegation against his office and his person. So whichever, whether the left or the right, he will be confronting him up there.
Honorable Yanko, for a